Good morning, friends. So, this week, you have been given a mission. Your job is to save the bees. So, this week in reading, you're going to learn all about what's the buzz about bees. So, your learning goal this whole week in reading is to collect evidence from multiple sources in order to support your ideas. How are you going to do that? Well, I've created a Hyperdoc, okay? Now remember, we already did a Hyperdoc back when we were in school, right before parent-teacher conferences. This Hyperdoc looks a little bit different. I'll explain more about that later. And to be successful, you're going to use the videos to help guide your journey and instruction. Why? So why would we need to look at multiple sources in order to provide evidence to support our ideas? I want you to think of a time, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to think of a time in your everyday life when this learning goal can be helpful to you. So pause the video now. Okay, so after you've paused and talked about it maybe with a family member or just thought about it in your head, I'm just thinking of a time right now is a time of a lot of information being given at once. And so it's really important that we back up all of the information we're saying with credible sources. And remember when we were looking at writing informational text and we learned about how to find a reliable or credible source? Well, a credible source is usually when information is put in from many different people, right? It's given through many different articles from many people, then that information becomes a little bit more credible. So that's one way I think it could affect your everyday life. All right, so remember, a hyperdoc is a fancy word for just a document that has links on it. And here's a little picture of what our hyperdoc looks like, okay? Today, I want you to actually submit the Hyperdoc that's in the Google Classroom assignment because today is just 2 phases, okay? Then the next couple days, I probably won't have you submit things every single day. So let's take a look at the Hyperdoc. Now, I gave you a video of this Hyperdoc, so there's another video that explains how to go through the Hyperdoc, okay? What I do want to point out is that Lucidchart is a brand new website for you. If you want to challenge yourself to explore a new website, I would love for you to do that, okay? All right, so back to our lesson. So you're going to use this Hyperdoc to guide you. Today, though, your task, and again, this is on that Hyperdoc, but today I want you to create a graphic organizer to collect information from multiple sources. You are not submitting this today. This is what you're creating to collect information all week. Okay, so this is something that you're going to create, and again, I showed you on the Hyperdoc maybe Lucidchart to explore a new website. You can use a Google Drawing, use a Google Slide, even a Google Doc, okay? But the important thing to know is that you must have 4 different areas to collect info. So today you're going to put your information from the article we talk about in the first column or the first area, and then the next 3 days you're going to be reading an article per day and collecting information. And so you're adding to this creation, this graphic organizer, each day this week. All right, so today, how are we going to collect evidence? Now, back in the Hyperdoc here, our goal is to think of solutions to the problem of the declining bees, okay? 1/3 of bees are abandoning their hives since 2006, and this is becoming a problem, and you'll see why in this video. So our job is to think of solutions to this, and the problem is called the colony collapse disorder. So today, you're going to read Saving Florida's Honeybees, One Backyard at a Time. So this article is all about saving honeybees. So using this nonfiction text features right here, I've got the word saving honeybees, okay? And when it says backyard, that's telling me it's probably not going to be some business that's saving the honeybees. I have a feeling it's going to be just regular people, regular population of Florida. So, as we go down and read, it first gives you a lot of background information about the problem. So Marcy Davis, she wanted to build a honeybee hive in her backyard in Florida. However, it's against the law. Okay, so she was in a legal battle to try to have her own beehives in her backyard. And so as I skim through, honeybees hit hard, so I'm seeing more of the problem here, and you're going to read this on your own. Backyard beehive hobbyists, so this is talking about how beekeepers are usually trained professionals. However, these people in Florida are just it's basically a hobby for them. Again, another tough problem. So it's solving this riddle of dying bees is difficult, they say. Okay, and they tell, again, more of the problem. And so here's getting a good buzz. Let's see what this has to do with. The Twain family started keeping bees in their Coral Gables neighborhood 2 years ago. They discovered a hive in their backyard. So I'm kind of skimming. So, look at here. Their father was a lawyer. He was able to stand and fix the problem with the county. So Twain also helped Davis with her court case. When the county finally dropped Davis's case, they were both surprised. So by the end here, it looks like the solution is that the county, I'm going to highlight that, the county went ahead and dropped the file or the case against the Davises. So they were able to then have their beehive in their backyard. So the law, another solution here is it helped create buzz, play on words there. So it helped create a buzz or talk about the bee problem in the newspaper. So it created awareness. That's one way to help solve the problem. And in the years before the law passed, there were only a handful, which usually means just like 5 beekeeping clubs in Florida, and now there's 41. So now there's many, many more bees thanks to the awareness that this legal battle created. And they won, so now people are able to keep bees in their backyard. Okay, so now after I've read through this whole article, again, you're going to read this whole article called Saving Florida's Honeybees, One Backyard at a Time, and you can highlight like I did parts of the solution. And then this is the information you're going to fill out when you create your graphic organizer. So down here, you're going to create your graphic organizer and you're going to insert all of this information that you collected from the article. Okay? Now remember, the really cool thing about News ELA is in this corner here, you can change the level. So if you're reading and you're feeling like, ooh, this is a little too easy for me, I'm going to challenge myself and go to a higher level. And it just changes some of these words, like, look at cultivate. Ooh, one of my reading groups, we talked about that word. So just use higher level vocabulary. Or if you're finding this 860 level to be a little bit tough, then you can always go down a level. Okay, you can go to 750. This is around a 4th grade level, and then 390. I think that might be a little bit too easy, but go ahead and try it. Okay? All right. So friends, again, our learning goal this week is to collect information about how to save the bees, okay, from multiple sources. Today, you're just reading this article and collecting information in a graphic organizer that you create. Well, good luck and happy digital learning.